Latino, and I said, get a dictionary. And he said, okay, I got a dictionary. And I said, now Google the word Reza. And
Why
he's like,
would I
what?
Google if I had a book? Why would I
Yeah,
Google that?
that's what he said. And I was like, ha ha ha, I got you the Latino way.
You did sneak that through me. That was pretty good. I liked it a
Yeah,
lot.
it was good. So, Victor, you were telling me about that day that you were. Do you want to tell the folks at home how,
Which
like,
day are you referring to?
oh, you're giving me a look like, I don't
No,
want
no,
to
no.
tell
I
this
don't
story.
know. No, talk
Oh,
about it now. Now you have to
oh,
talk about it.
oh,
Now we have to talk about it.
you were telling me about that day you were hitting the road, right? And you saw a hitchhiker, and you were like, oh my God. So then you're like, and then you came back from the road and you saw the same hitchhiker, and you were like, oh my God, I feel bad. So I want to go get him some water or something because no one's picked him up and it's been like 3 days. So you drive all the way back to a gas station, you get water, and then you drive all the way back to the hitchhiker and you realize it's not a hitchhiker, it's a scarecrow.
Well, you're missing out the most important part that I hollowed out that person. I turned them into a scarecrow. That's the part that you left
Ah,
out. I murdered them. I'm just kidding. None of that happened. Keith,
yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's a scarecrow.
That's what happened to me.
Keith, that did not happen to you.
I
There's no
swear,
way.
I swear to God. I didn't tell you this. I thought I did.
I know you've probably mistaken a scarecrow for a person.
Yeah. So here's what happened.
Well, how did
So,
that scarecrow look so real, dude?
okay. So when you're driving and you drive past something and you just see it in your corner of the eye, you don't really see it. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
see it. So I saw a hitchhiker with his hands in it outside. And I was like, oh, this guy's trying to find a ride somewhere because it's on the way to Sacramento. It's a big middle of nowhere. So like
Yeah.
50 miles to the next town. And I was like, I feel bad for him, but I'm not going to get murdered. So I kept driving and I did the shows, right? And then I come back Sunday and I'm driving back and I see the exact same guy wearing the exact same stuff, the exact same spot. I was like, oh my God, no one's picked up this guy and it's been 3 days. I feel terrible. So I got water and I drove another 50 miles because I felt so bad for him, and I stopped and I was like, it's a fucking scarecrow. I just bought a $3 jug of water for a scarecrow. So then I had to drive another 50 miles back. Like I put 200 miles on my car just for this fucking
Scarecrow.
scarecrow.
For the record, that wasn't me. That was Keith.
No, I know, but I was trying to like throw it
Oh
on you, like
my God.
Victor.
How
I,
dare you get a scarecrow confused for an actual human being?
yeah.
Thank God she wasn't like thick or your type, you know? You're like, hey, what's up, girl?
Well, he was made out of straw, so
Uh, is there girl scarecrows or lady scarecrows?
yeah, that'd be cool. What should we call a girl scarecrow? Like a
I
like
don't know.
a
You would think scarecrow is like a unisex type of name, like
yeah,
styling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or what would you call a trans scarecrow?
A,
I don't
a scare raven.
yeah, something like that. Something
Yeah,
yeah.
there we go. Because ravens and crows aren't the same thing, but they're kind of similar, but they're not. Like, I don't know. Hope we don't
Yeah.
get canceled on the opening remarks. That'll be
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be something fierce. They start talking about scarecrows and trans. Canceled.
Victor's biggest fear is getting canceled, and I'm thinking, dude, if I get canceled right now, that's all I got.
I don't want to get
Anyways,
canceled as much as I don't want people to be like, hey, it's that guy for saying that one thing that was obviously misinterpreted because I am an angel.
yeah.
I can't even say that with a straight face.
You know what? Have you heard of these it's like you make your own soda and you hit the button and it's like it carbonates the water. You know what I mean? Have you
Yeah,
heard?
like a soda dispenser machine type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So I got my mom that for Christmas. And then I went to the store today to buy Pepsi because I wanted to try it. And I made my own Pepsi.
Yeah.
Dude, it tastes not like Pepsi, but it tastes Pepsi like passable. Like
So it wasn't as good.
it wasn't as good, but it was passable. Where it's
I,
like, hey, if you don't have Pepsi and you have a fucking make your own soda machine.
Dude, who the hell wants to make Pepsi? If you got a soda making machine, you would just make cola, right? But Pepsi has their own soda you can make. Oh, that sounds so weird.
Yeah.
Is it like a
It,
powder or what is it?
it's like a syrup.
Oh, no shit. I'm fucking dumb. Yeah,
Yeah,
I fucking
and you pour it in and it grinds it. It's like, and then we don't release the video for these reasons, folks. But I just did a bad impression of a blender, and then
they heard
you
it.
oh they did hear it. Okay. Anyways, subscribe, rate, review if you enjoyed the opening remarks. We got a great guest, comedian. He tours with Mark Norman. He has a new special that's coming out. It's called Andrew Youngblood. I'll tell you this, the great Andrew Youngblood. All right, Victor's just leaving me on that. All right, excellent.
I thought you were pressing stop.
Andrew Youngblood's here. Hey, Rifters, just giving you a heads up. Andrew Youngblood's special has been announced and it will be released on Mark Norman's platform on March 28th. So go get it. Enjoy.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee right here on LA Talk Radio.
And Andrew Youngblood is here. All right, excellent. We did opening remarks before you came.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys said, but I probably look like an idiot.
No, we're gonna edit it. We said Andrew Youngblood's the best comedian of all time. He's here via Zoom, and then you were trying to come in, and we're like, best comedian of all time via Zoom, and we're gonna edit it together. So best comedian of all time, Andrew Youngblood.
That's me. Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
Guys, how are you, man? It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. So how are you? I miss you. I wish I could go back to Houston and that was one of the best weekends I've ever had is meeting you, man.
Oh, that's really sweet. I think that's just because you got Whataburger for the first time, though. You're obsessed.
Oh yeah. Victor, have you ever been to Texas? Oh, this is Victor. He's the trusty sidekick.
Hey, what's up, Andrew? How you doing?
What's up, Victor? How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm feeling sorry.
I like the dog.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we were at the small dog park. My dog's the one in the pink. She's a Chihuahua, and this Great Dane just showed up out of nowhere. My dog was the only one that wasn't scared of it, so
Nice.
that was pretty sick. But no, I've never tried Whataburger.
It is so good. Andrew doesn't believe.
In Texas, there's a big debate. It's Whataburger versus In-N-Out because you guys are all In-N-Out there.
Yeah.
And, we just started getting In-N-Outs, and so now it's a big thing. It's like which is better. Whataburger is definitely better, but
Yeah.
I heard Five Guys was the best, and Five Guys sucks. Like I don't care where it's at. I've had it in. It's just I've never had a good time at Five Guys.
Not that great.
Yeah.
I thought.
Is it even in the competition because it's not fast food?
No,
like,
it's not. It's not in the competition. Five Guys does.
Wait, Five Guys isn't fast food?
No, fast food is where you go through a drive-through.
I thought it was just like a Johnny Rockets. It's like a glamorized type of fast food place where you pay more money and have to tip.
No,
In my fast food, you gotta have a driving through situation. Otherwise,
it's not fast food. It's considered cheap diner food or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Well, anyways, Andrew, I wanted to talk about your comedy because what I know about you is I think you're so funny, and I know you just filmed your special, and we're gonna get into that. But other than the 3 days I hung out with you, I don't know much about you. And what I do know is I love. So I wanted to know more about your adventure on how you got into this business and what made you so good, you know?
Well, the making a good part, that's still out for debate. But
I think you're great, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I just always loved comedy. I waited too long to get into it, though. I didn't start until I was, I think, 29 is when I finally started comedy, and that's just because I was scared to go on stage. And then
Yeah.
I did it, and then I just kept going up every single day. And the first 5 to 6 years, I gotta be honest, it was brutal. Like
Yeah.
I bombed a lot, a lot, a lot. But when you first start, if you don't bomb every 10th set, you're like, I can do this. At least I thought I could, anyways. And so I just kept with it, just like, I think I didn't do anything that anyone else didn't do. I just did like, they tell you the best way to do it is just go up and do it.
Yeah.
The best way to headline is to just go up and headline. When I remember when I first started like doing longer, like 50-minute sets and stuff like that, I was nervous, and I text all my headlining friends like, any advice? And they're like, the only advice I got is just go up there and do it, because that's the only way you can learn how to do it.
Yeah.
But man, I just grew up watching comedy, all the Comedy Central half-hour specials, and Eddie Murphy Delirious was the first special I really watched, like, as a kid. And I remember watching it. I probably watched that special 100 times in my life, and
Wow.
thinking it was just the funniest thing in the world. Which I know is also kind of stereotypical because it's such a big special, but I still think it's one of the best specials.
No,
I think it holds up. If you can get past the obvious 80s words that he'd get in trouble for now situation, but
yeah.
it's still one of the best specials that exists, if you ask me.
No, I agree, but I also I'm gonna go backtrack on that because I feel if you give Eddie Murphy a special now, I don't think he would be able to be as good as he was back then. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. It's tough, man, because there's been rumors, right? Every year or two, we hear a rumor like Eddie Murphy's getting back into stand up, right? Like you hear that, or like he's spotted at the Comedy Store or something. Like you
Yeah.
hear these rumors that it's gonna happen, and I mean, obviously I'd watch it. I'd be very excited for it, but I'd also go in being like, there's no way,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no way it could be what it was,
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be tough, but I'd be very excited for it. Just like I am. I mean, I get excited for everyone's, well, not everyone's special, a lot of specials. I got
Yeah.
excited for the new Chappelle special, and that was a little disappointing, but I was still excited for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you excited
but
for Victor's special?
I didn't know he had one.
Oh,
Neither did I. Neither did I, Andrew. I didn't know I had a special coming out either. Jesus Christ, Keith. The prick.
but
Yeah.
no, I agree with
What?
you. Yeah, I mean, I have a special, and I actually tried to record my second one, but I got heckled the whole time, so I didn't.
Yeah,
I,
you're telling me.
yeah, so it sucks because I have to find a different venue to do it at because I don't want that bitch to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where was it in LA? You recorded it, or?
It was in Huntington Beach at the Rec Room, the comedy club that I co-book. And I just can't do it there now because now I have this fear that she's gonna go back and just really fuck with me.
There's
So
no way she'd come back though, right? Like she's not like stalking you. That'd be wild.
no, I mean I don't know. I think it's just a fear I have. Like I just because I lost a lot of money on it, plugging it and stuff, and she just ruined it for me. And it's like I don't know if I want to take that chance again at that club. Nothing against the
Yeah,
club. I mean, but it's just you know what I mean? Like
I'm
it's
sure you know what she looks like though, right? Couldn't you just be like, you're not allowed in? Like
I,
just
I
stand at the
don't
door and be like,
I don't know her name. I don't even remember what she looks like. I just remember she was a bitch.
oh, man, what's funny is so we recorded four shows, right?
Uh,
And I have kids, and my the mother of my child came out, and in the
oh,
middle
showing you some
in the
support.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
middle of the second show, a phone goes off, and
Oh,
it's
God.
her. It was
It's her phone?
going off out of
Oh my God.
everybody. Her phone goes off, and I'm like, whose phone is that? What's going on here? We're recording a special, and then I see everyone like looking around and then looking towards her, and then I see her like digging through her purse, embarrassed, and I go, "Oh my God!" I was like, "We have a kid together. What is wrong with you?" In front of my kids. It can't go. It can't go. It's not going to make it into the special, but I feel like it'd be really funny for an outtake during the special. I want
Oh, a
almost like a
blooper.
blooper.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
there are a couple little bloopers in there, you know.
Yeah. So you did 4 shows and you recorded at the Secret Club in Houston, which
Yeah, the
is
secret group.
which is one of your favorite clubs.
Yeah,
So like how did you, like how did you, like, obviously when you got the dates, you put a lot of time and effort into it. Like how is your promoting tactic to get people in? Like how, because
oh
you're
man, this
from
one this was weird because it was you know, it was I did it in about 100 cap room. You
uh
know, once you had cameras, it was a little bit less than that. And then I was actually pretty lucky. As soon as I announced it, I moved about 50% of the tickets like within days, and I was
Oh, that's
super
awesome.
excited. I think
Great.
you know I've been in Houston for a long time. Everyone kind of knows me, and so I think people were a little bit excited, and you know they saw me. I got so many messages like I remember watching you suck. You know, like they mean it in a nice way, but
Oh my
they're
God.
like you're so good now. But they're like, I remember this girl came up to me after the show, and she goes, "That was so good. It's so good to see you up there and killing it." And you know, because back in the day, I used to watch you, and you just weren't good. And I was like, "What? I get that you're How do you? Has anyone taught you how to compliment someone before? Because that's not the way
Yeah.
to do it."
That's a
But
that's a compliment sandwich, we like to call it.
No,
yeah,
that's
brutal.
that's like a backhanded compliment, so to speak. It's just like, oh man, you're so great. Thank God you don't suck like you did before. Thank God you're
Yeah.
shining. And it's God.
I
At
remember
least,
one
oh,
time.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh
I
man,
remember
but
one time I did this festival in Houston, and they did a review of the festival afterwards. This is probably my third year into comedy, and the review of it it was written down all the comics they saw and like what they thought of each one. They get to me and they go, Andrew Youngblood, not as bad as you'd think. And I was like, what the hell is that? I actually have it on my website as like under reviews. It's
yeah.
I got yeah, so
Well, Andrew, I say this with all seniority, and if I didn't have like a gig that weekend you were doing, I was actually going to go to Houston and pay a ticket and go support you, because I was so, when you told me you were doing it, I don't know, I just really admired that because that's how I did it, and I just thought, oh my God, like I could tell you have a good heart in it. So I was really proud of you. I actually plugged it on Riffs a few times. So
yeah, man, I really appreciate that. You know, I don't know. I'm hoping some people came out from that, but I do appreciate that a ton, man. It meant a lot. The the support that I got from a lot of comics that I've met along the way was pretty awesome. Like it was
yeah,
really nice, and it's it was a good feeling for sure. You know,
yeah,
I think it's rare to feel supported in the comedy community by other comics a lot of times. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's
It's like a rare
especially,
feeling.
I know
Yeah,
this is gonna sound silly, especially with white comics. Us whiteys, we don't really stick together, you
yeah,
know. And I think that's kind of it's just a fact. Like other ethnicities, you see them and they're like, it's always great. I think it's an amazing thing. You'll see like an Indian comic bring up an Indian comic, and you're like, good for you. I'm really like that's awesome. And then
yeah.
white people are like, let's just leave each other alone, and we don't really give a shit about each other. But this is really nice, you know.
Yeah, well, see, maybe that's different for me because, like, see, Victor doesn't believe me, but I'm Latino, so like, I like supporting the whiteys, because I like to be
Wow,
white.
I got a Latin kid, so that's why we've got a kinship.
Oh yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you really Latino?
yeah. That's what Reza is a Latino last name, and
Oh
everyone
yeah, duh, of course.
and nobody believes me. Like whenever someone sees my name, they're like, "Oh God, another Persian guy." And I'm like, "No, I mean it's also a Persian guy, but it's also a Persian name, but it's also a Latino name."
Yeah. You're so white looking, you know?
Yeah,
You really
yeah,
lucked
yeah.
out.
I mean, hey, that's because my biological parents were white. But okay,
Ah, there you
bad
go.
joke.
Were you adopted?
No, I was making a bad
No,
joke.
just a joke. All right.
Yeah, they can't all be winners, Andrew. But yeah.
Well,
Hey,
I know that for sure.
I was thinking, when is the plan for the special to come out?
Beginning of March. I just got my first round of like stills with promo and stuff. I'm waiting a little bit. I actually might be posting something today, and I'll
Uh,
send you guys some things so when this comes
oh,
out.
that would be awesome,
Uh,
man. We'll definitely.
yeah, yeah,
But I wanted to make a suggestion. You know how like you said that this person wrote you and this girl came up to you and they gave you backhanded compliments. I think you should film a whole bunch of backhanded compliments and put it at the end, like as a blooper.
oh yeah, that's a good idea. There was, you know what? There was a cameraman on me when she gave me that compliment, so there is a
Oh,
chance that I
Oh
have.
my God.
It would be beautiful,
that
which
would
would
be
be great. So
that would be awesome, man. Okay,
it
so
was fun.
this is your first hour special too, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm cutting it down. I think I'm gonna release about 40 of it, but still, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
If
at a
you,
point now where I'm out doing nothing but new,
yeah.
and it is brutal, man. I am just going up there and bombing all night long. Uh, all these different sets. I just go up, I just eat shit, and ooh, it's rough, man. But it's like trial by fire, you know. And it's funny because I'll do a whole set where I just bomb, and then just for my own like feelings, I'll be like, all right, let me throw in an old joke. I'll do an old
Right.
joke. It'll murder, and then I'll be like, oh god damn it, I got nothing. I got
But
nothing new.
but I think that that's a problem for a lot of comics, especially maybe not like headliners on the level of TJ or Mark Norman or whatever, but guys on our level, you know what I mean? I think it's because stage time is so, it's kind of hard to get it. So when you either want to do great, but then you want to try the new stuff, and then if you're trying the new stuff, you feel you're not doing good if it's doing bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I talked to Mark about this actually quite a bit. But he's like, dude, you just got to do it. That's the smart way to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing your same act once this thing comes out. And I'm setting up a tour that I will announce. Basically, when the special comes out, I'm going to do the whole country, and hopefully, some people actually, I'll get some traction, and people actually come out to my shows now.
Yeah.
I get a good 10 people in every city nowadays, but I think this is going to help a lot and get my stuff out there. But it'll be all new stuff, and so it's kind of trial by fire. I really have no choice but to
Yeah.
hit that next thing. That's what it does. It's interesting because when you put your first special out, it takes, if you really think about it, all the jokes and everything you put in it. For me, it's the last 6 years. You know what I mean? I've got a couple jokes on there that were like I wrote year two, and now have they changed a lot? Totally, but I started them way back then, and
Yeah.
now I'm like working on a new hour, and it's been a month, so it's like I got about a minute 50 of the next hour, so
Well, here's the good news is you could hire Joe Coy to write for you now.
oh my gosh, I watched it. How do you,
Vic,
how do you feel about it? I
uh,
like Joe Coy.
I love Joe
Uh,
Coy too. I just thought he bombed horribly. Victor, did you watch the Golden Globes?
I saw
I
more
kind of
posts
like
about it than anything. Like I didn't see it, but I've heard a lot of comics not say good things about it. I haven't seen like, oh, Joe Coy
Yeah,
killed it.
Yeah,
I rewatched it. Well, I didn't rewatch. I watched it for the first time on YouTube. I didn't hate it as much as everyone made. Like he was getting some laughs.
yeah,
I didn't hate it as much as everyone made it seem like it was going to be. I thought it was going to be nothing but silence. But there was definitely some awkward moments where he was like, "I didn't write these." And I was like, "Oh, you throwing them under the bus? Like, come
yeah.
on, just take
The,
the bomb."
the second he did that, I was like, all right, so you probably shouldn't hire Joe Urell next year when you host it, you know?
Yeah, it was. It's wild, man. That
Or
was.
Tony
I'm
Hinchcliffe. I don't
surprised.
know.
I'm talking
Bad.
about Cat Williams for 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, Cat Williams. He should host the Golden Globes next year. I think it would be great.
Oh yeah, let him tear down Hollywood. Then I would like it. I
Oh,
loved I loved when Ricky Gervais did it. That was fun.
oh
That
yeah,
was
His
that was
back
great.
legendary.
his back in the day. I like when he shits on them all. I like when they're mean to the when
Yeah,
it's kind of the thing. They should sit there. They should take their whoopings, get their trophies, and you know have a good
yeah.
time.
I
Everyone's
think
mad about this Taylor Swift joke, it wasn't even a bad joke. It was just kind of like he wasn't
No,
doing well.
it was a good joke. He just didn't tell it right. Like
But
maybe he
he
messed
also
up on a word or something.
he stumbled. Yeah, he
Yeah,
stumbled in saying, camera cuts or something like that.
yeah,
That's what happened. So that's all. But
yeah,
everyone's giving him shit for that joke. Like, you bullied Taylor Swift. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I
uh,
can't. Everyone's too nuts.
yeah. You know who I
I
think
made
would
a
be
post
great
about
is TJ. I think TJ would host that really well.
Oh, he'd be great. He'd be a
Uh,
great host for that kind of stuff.
yeah, he would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I made a post about Cat Williams. I haven't. I got to be honest. I haven't watched the whole thing
Okay.
for sure. Have you watched the whole thing?
I don't watch podcasts as I listen to them because I think when I watch stuff, it's like I feel I don't know, like it's very hard for me with my Asperger's to watch people because it's like you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard to
No,
even do this because like I'm acting like I'm looking at the camera, but I'm actually looking at my porn on my phone.
nice. Yeah. You showed us the other screen photo. What's your go-to porn?
Oh,
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 with Asperger's. What is it?
oh,
Anal porn?
this is a whole nother podcast, Andrew. I like them all. Like, holy Lord, what's weird is I was watching porn, and you know how porn has like a little count, like on YouTube. Like it shows you how many other people watch it.
Yeah.
Do you know this or do you not
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah. How many views? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I
So
don't like the
like,
popular stuff. More of an indie guy myself.
yeah. But see, like whenever I watch porn, I think to myself, "Holy Lord, 400,092 other people have a black gangbang fetish."
Yeah, they do. That's a popular one.
That is a
I'd bet
popular.
higher than that. That's a popular one right there, dude. Everyone wants to see a black guy bang their wife. That's
Yeah,
all. That's what I've learned on the internet.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. I got an Oculus, so I tried some VR porn out.
Oh, I just got one of those. I haven't tried the VR porn though. Is it fun?
Oh well, I'm about to. It can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah,
It's fun. You can do like the normal one is you're sitting in a chair, you got it on, you're just getting a beach, and
yeah,
then hilarity ensues or something, and it's good. But one time I watched a orgy and with the Oculus, and that was interesting because you get the headphones and it's like spatial sound, right?
yeah,
So I can like I'm watching these two people go at it there, and I'm like, this is nice. And then I'm looking over there, and I'm watching other people, and then I hear something else. There's people behind me.
yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't realize there were people behind. This was a 360. It wasn't like a 180.
Because it makes you turn and you don't realize it.
So it's and obviously I was watching porn, so I was laying down.
Oh, okay. You're lying down. All
As
right.
you would. So I was like, okay, well, shit, I want to know what's going on behind me.
I jerk
Next thing I
off
know,
watching porn standing up.
You will with the Oculus. You'll have to get
Yeah,
the full experience.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
I catch myself on my knees in the middle of my bed, standing up, just like looking all the way around and going at it. And then I was like, if anyone walked into my room right now, this is just like a fucking. And then what's funny is on that Pete Davidson show, that's basically the first scene.
Yeah.
And like that, that the like first scene of the show, his mom catches him jerking off wearing an Oculus, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I'm scared to like try it because I don't want to like accidentally jizz my mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, do you live with her?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay.
There's a pandemic, Andrew. You don't remember that?
Oh, I remember the pandemic.
I had to move back
Best times
in.
of my life.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what's it like working with Mark Norman? Because you hooked us up with Mark Norman, and I love Mark Norman.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, you didn't listen to it?
No, I'm so busy, man. I'm sorry. I get to it.
Keith, don't do that to people, man. You can't do that to Andrew. Andrew's a nice guy. You can't. Hey, did you watch the podcast that you recommended the dude with? Yeah. Oh, by the way, he called Keith a fatty. It was fucking hysterical.
Oh, he calls everyone fatty.
Yeah, Victor
But
was
he got
laughing so hard because, like I don't mean to brag, but Victor's a little bigger than me, and he acted like Victor was the skinniest guy in the world, and he just went off on me. I was like, "Oh, this is fun."
That's
oh,
funny.
that
He
was,
does. He calls everyone fatty though. I would. Well, when I first.
oh
Oh,
man.
nice.
I thought he was
When I
calling Keith
first.
fat. It
Yeah.
was so funny. It was the funny. He's like, it was like Keith's like, hey, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah, shoot, fatty. And it was so nonchalant. It was the funniest fucking
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. That's his love language, man. He calls everyone fatty.
Well, now that I
And I didn't
know
know that at
that,
first.
I mean, I didn't know
When you
that.
first hang, yeah, yeah. When you first hang out with them, you don't know that. And I, in the same way, and I've struggled with weight gain up and down and stuff like that. And he kept calling me fatty, and I was like, and I remember walking away from like the weekend being like, this guy's kind of a dick. Like it took me a second to realize, oh, he called everyone. He was like calling everyone fatty,
Yeah,
And so then I was like, oh, okay, good. I was like, man, I just thought he really thinks I'm a fat guy.
yeah.
Thought
So
about Keith. That's what I thought that he was saying about Keith.
Yeah, I even asked Victor. I was like, Victor, am I really that fat? Like it was great, but I was like, holy Lord.
now he's great to work with, though. He's really fun. He's one of the only comics I've done a weekend with. Obviously, we've done a lot of weekends. We've been over the seas together. Um, he's one of my favorite comics to work with because he's such a nerd about comedy, and we write a lot together.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, I got an idea. He's got every time we're doing a weekend, he goes, "You got anything new?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is what I got." I like, "You got anything new?" "This is what I got." And then we just bounce back and forth for a while. We try it on stage. We kind of push each other to do new stuff on the shows,
Yeah.
and I think that's always fun and a good thing. The guy carries a wad of papers in his pocket this big at all times, and it's just like scrap notes that he wrote stuff on.
Oh,
He's
I
fun.
thought it was a lot of ones or something.
No, no, it's a lot of just paper. And
Uh,
uh and we do he might be rich enough now, he just uses ones as notepads, but
yeah,
yeah.
because
But
whenever I go to a strip club, I like before I flap in a Washington, I gotta make sure the
gotta make sure you don't have
jokes.
a new bit on it.
Yeah, I gotta make sure the jokes. I'm just giving away bad jokes.
Yeah, yeah. He's cool. Yeah, you'd like hanging out with him. He's a simple man. He puts it back. We like to drink. We have a lot of the similar tendencies. He's an awkward weirdo, and so am I, and so are you. So
Yeah,
we could all
I
we could
I
all sit
think.
in the same room and not say anything to each other.
Oh no, definitely. I think you're a great like I think that's what kind of works with you guys is because you know how to write in his voice. You know what I mean? So that's very great.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I was really proud. He just had his special come out this year, and I spent the last year with him, not every gig, but like a ton of those gigs, and just watching it grow and helping with some of it, and it was really neat to see a full scale Netflix production doing 4 shows in Chicago in a big theater, and just everything that went into that.
Yeah. Have you ever bombed like so bad that you thought, yeah, maybe I should quit comedy?
Man, I just had a bomb the other day opening for the Sklar brothers. Uh, Good buddies, good people, and I was
Explain to the folks who the Scholar brothers are.
Sklar brothers
No,
twins. They're
no,
just
we know them. I was just making a joke.
oh okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's funny you said that because they were just told me a story yesterday about how they did this club recently, and this guy was like, "We're such big fans, we're huge fans. So glad you're here. Thanks so much." And then when they're getting the show, they're announcing everyone on the show. They call them the Schuyler brothers and brought them on stage. So
I think I was hosting that show.
were you really?
No, but that's something I would
Oh,
do.
yeah. But yeah, they're great. They're big sports guys, and they've been friends for a long time. I went up, and so the University of Michigan football team championship was here yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they were doing a show here in town, and it was basically for all Michigan fans. And because they went to Michigan. And so they all come out, and it's all just fucking people not from Houston, Michiganders, if you will. And I go up and I start throwing stuff out there that's they were not ready for. They were not ready for anything dark stuff, any dark stuff. I talked about race. There was not a black person in the room, and they were like, I don't know. And they freaked out. And one lady goes, "Get off stage." It was awesome.
Did you
my God.
did you say get off stage before I call my black boyfriend?
Yeah, she yelled at me, man. It was brutal. But it was actually at a weird part of my set where I was talking about kinks. It was
Yeah.
kind of off, like I was like talking to the audience. It was one of those things where I also knew what I was doing. I could tell early on that they were like getting upset by the darker stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll just keep going with it instead
Yeah.
of being like, oh, let me pivot to my easy stuff. I go, let me just mess around with it. And then my favorite part about it is the Sklar brothers stayed in their green room the whole time and did not see my set. So when I got off, they're like, "You crushed, dude." And I was like,
Oh, geez.
That's the best though. Like honestly, when
Yeah.
the headliner doesn't see your set and they're like, "Ah, thank you so much," and then
Oh,
you know
yeah.
you did terrible.
Yeah, I'm doing their podcast in a couple of weeks. Thank God they didn't see it. So
Oh man, that's awesome. Victor, you got any questions for the great Andrew Youngblood?
Yeah.
Thanks,
How has
people,
comedy changed since the pandemic in Texas and Houston?
well, Texas, you know, the pandemic was great for me, man. I don't know. It's a different world. Like Texas was one of the only places we could continue doing comedy after a short period of time, with like caveats, obviously. You know, we basically went from like these packed rooms to like these socially distanced rooms to like this, but it just happened to be the last thing I did. The way me and Mark became good friends. Uh, the last thing both of us did was this thing called the Hawaii Comedy Festival in Hawaii, obviously. And it was the last thing before COVID. And we do it. We don't really know each other that well then. We knew each other, but we didn't know each other well. But he comes out to one of my sets, he watches, he's like, "Good stuff, man." And then we hung out a little bit, we talked, and put it back, drank, we rented scooters, we jumped off cliffs. We had a whole Hawaii experience. And then the world shut down.
Yeah.
And so then we were just like joking for the first couple months of pandemic, like, remember Hawaii? Like it was like that was like the kind of the joke. And then when Texas started opening back up, they started bringing down comics. Well, we brought Mark down. Mark's like, "You want to open up?" And I go, "Yeah." And so that weekend is like the weekend we really became solid friends. And then I started opening up for him a lot during the pandemic. So while a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm limited to stage time," I was getting in front of the biggest crowds I'd ever been in front of before. And so that was really exciting for me. I'll probably get some haters for doing it, but that's also how I got COVID though. So
Oh yeah.
I got
Nice.
COVID. So I knew the risk. I almost died. I had it for like a month. I ended up in the hospital, the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. But I made it through, and now I got a special. So that's pretty good.
Well, what's the name of the special? Have you decided on that?
I got it. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the name of it? Oh,
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, "I'll tell you this." I was like, "All right, I want the juicy deets."
No, I'll tell you this. That's the name of the special. Sorry.
Oh no.
Technically, the full name of the special, it's a little bit long. The technical full name of it is Mark Norman Presents Andrew Youngblood. I'll tell you this.
Oh, that's awesome, man! Wow.
Daunting, but it's that's technically the full name of the special.
Oh, maybe Mark will produce my special called Mark Norman Keith Reza. I'll tell you what Andrew Youngblood said.
And then you just recap my.
Oh man. But no, so the other thing I wanted to ask you is, did you get the hat I hooked you up with?
Yeah, I almost wore it, but you know
Oh,
it doesn't really fit my head right.
it
I got a
doesn't
big
fit
head.
you? Oh
I
man,
know, but it's okay. I got it on a mannequin.
yeah.
Put it on a mannequin in my house.
Because I hooked you up with the red because I only have blue and green. So I texted Lojo and I said, "Hey, do you have any red?" She said no, but she sent me the guy who makes them, and the guy just sent me too. And I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." So yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
man.
you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I, I'm excited to have it.
Yeah, that's an original uh sports hat. So yeah, that's cool. Your
That's
hat
pretty
says
awesome.
your hat says
It's funny. I know
free.
this is your this is your podcast. I feel like when we met that weekend, I asked you so many questions about Norm that like I could talk about it all. I'm sure you've talked about it a billion times on this podcast. So your listeners are like,
Yeah.
really
But
not gonna show up.
they love Norm because Norm's a big part of me. So like if you have any Norm questions,
Well,
answer.
did I tell you my Norm story?
You told me that he did your festival and we were trying to figure out who was his opener because it was not me.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It
we
was an older
were
gay man.
so I say it was Barry Sobel, Victor. That's what I say.
Did he have glasses?
He had glasses.
It was very solvable.
It had to be.
Sorry, my bad. It was that's probably who it was.
Can you pull it? Is there a way to pull up a photo?
You just Google Barry Sobel.
Keith, that isn't what he asked. Of course he knows how to Google.
I thought with the dog photo in the back, I figured one of you guys had abilities to do something. I don't know.
No, but
I didn't.
I, I,
The
I,
dog photo in the back made me think this podcast was more high tech than it is.
Oh my
I'm willing. I'm willing to bet money that it was, but then I remember I showed you a picture and you said that wasn't him. So then I thought maybe it was Stevie Ray from Sting. I showed you a picture and you're like, that wasn't him. And then I was like, I have no idea then.
I have no idea either. But
Yeah.
I,
But so the story that you told me is that Norm did a set and he saw a comic in the audience who had like the biggest juggers and he started talking to her.
no, hold on. You're no. There's
That wasn't true. Okay.
No, it is no. I think
Okay.
you're messing it up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I was just getting the short facts, like the JFK assassination. It was John Wilkes
So
Booth.
Norm comes in and
Okay.
he wants to do a sound check, which was absurd to me. But I was like, okay, it's Norm. We guys wants to do a sound check. Wants to do a noon sound check, and we're like, this is so weird. But we show up at noon. He shows up with this mystery gay opener, and
Barry
I go, hey,
Sobel.
potentially. He goes, this is the first thing that Norm says to me is he goes, I go, hey Norm, I'm a big fan. So glad you could join us. Thank you for doing the festival. And I go, how was San Antonio? He was at San Antonio the night before, and he goes, last night I had a chili dog, and oh my stomach hurts. This guy, if a guy had a chili dog, this guy probably want to eat their ass because he's gay. That's the first thing he ever said to me. I was like, what the heck's going
Wait,
on?
was it
It
this
is
kid?
neither one of those guys.
Okay,
It's
what? Okay,
definitely
that
not
guy's Robert
Mario.
Williams. The other guy. It's not him.
It's not this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, that took like
Unless
20
this
minutes.
guy
Sorry.
aged. Unless that guy aged like
Well,
incredibly.
Well, Robert Williams passed away in 2014, so a lot has happened in the past 10 years. So I mean,
Well,
and that was probably taken
been-
before then.
This would have been like 8 years.
So yeah, so it would have been like 2 years older than this picture or four.
Yeah,
or,
no,
I
no,
don't
this
know.
guy was like 75 years old. That's what it looked like to me. This guy was so old.
I wonder if it was Larry Bubbles, but I don't think Bubbles is gay.
Dude, Bubbles is not gay, and if he had
Yeah.
glasses, it's definitely not Bubbles.
No.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't like Barry Sobel anyway. So let's move on to the story.
So anyways, he makes that joke. He goes, he does a sound check, and then he goes and he leaves, comes back for the show, murders the show. Obviously, he kills. He picks up like someone's merch DVD they left on the stage because of the festival. Like shows are in and out all night. And
Right.
He just read the back and shit on it the whole time. Like he just fucked around and murdered the whole thing. And And then he's like, Andrew, can I get one of those? What they? It's like a drink. It's like in a can of. It's like a can. It's a red can. You got any red cans? I go, you want a Coca-Cola? He goes, yeah. I go, what's wrong with you? It's like say be normal. And then he goes, I heard there's an after party. I go, yeah, there's an after party. I got to run over there now. He goes, can I go up? I go, of course you can go up, man. And so we get, and we had a driver, like a town car for the night, and he gets in it with me, and he's looking for his opener. He goes, we got to find the opener. And I go, he's actually he went to a steak dinner with my friend, weirdly enough, and he goes, okay, well, let's go get him. And then it's late. The party's already running late. We pull up to the restaurant, and we walk in to go get his friend. I actually go, hey, let me run in there to go get him. And he's like, no, I want to go in with you. I go, okay. We go in, and then he sits down and he goes, let's get a steak. I go, no, we gotta go, man. I was like, hey, I was like, I can't. I was like, I gotta go. And then eventually I go, all right, man, I love you, dude. Thanks for doing the festival. I have to go to get the show going. Otherwise, comics are already pissed at me. Like, they're like angry. What's his name? What's that roast battle comic? Mike, he's kind of Asperger's himself. Mike Lawrence.
Mike Lawrence, okay.
He's hosting the after party, and we were waiting on Norman dragging his feet so long. I get there, and Mike's pissed. He's like, why am I still here? We haven't started yet. I was like, we're waiting for Norm. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I leave Norm at the restaurant, and I'm like, there's no way Norm's coming. Like, I've given up, right? And so he goes, I'll be there. I go, no, you won't. And then bars close at 2 a.m. At 1:59 in the morning, Norm walks in. And he walks up to me. He's like, hey, can I go up? And I was like, the bar closes at 2, and I go, okay, let me see what I can do. And I walked up to the manager and all the bartenders, and we gave each bartender $100. And we go, you don't have to serve anymore. Just let Norm go up for as long as he wants to go up. And then we'll get out of here. And so at 1:59 in the morning, there's 50 people left at the show at this point. And he goes, well, my opener has to go first. So the old gay guy goes up first, and then he goes up, and he does about an hour and a half, it feels like. It was killer, but in it, this is actually a pretty cool and emotional thing, I think. There's a stripper in the audience, and she had cancer to the point where she had a tube out of her collarbone that she had to go every year. And at some point, he was doing crowd work and started talking to her. And then he talked to her for the next hour about her having cancer. And the whole time, he would have had cancer at that time, which is pretty insane. And it was looking back, it made that experience a little bit crazier, but he took some photos with her. When he passed, she actually did this huge post and was like, I had cancer. I was like in a bad way, and he really got me through it that night. And I was like, man, I cried reading her post. And she's not a comic. She was just a person who was just there for the show.
Yeah.
And then to lighten it up afterwards, we go downstairs, and me, Norm, and my buddy Zad Devji, who's a killer comic, we're all drinking at the bar, and there's another girl at the end of the bar that goes by the name, her name's Abby, but everyone calls her Big Tits Abby on account of big and so we're all sitting there, and we're drinking, and we're talking, we're having a good time, and then it's like 4 a.m. at this point, and then I see Norm's on the phone. Like, what the hell who could Norm be on the phone with in Houston, Texas at 4:30 in the morning? And he goes, hey, you want to get out of here? And then I look over, and he's on the phone with Big Tits Abby. And they're next to each other on the phones with each other. And then they get up and they go, and I'm sure they had a great night and a good time.
Yeah.
And,
so we don't know what happened after that, but
yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure he got her home safely.
Yeah.
And respectfully. But that's my Norm. That's my one Norm experience.
Yeah. That story you told me, like, I mean, I obviously wasn't there, but I've done so many of those stories. So like I know the feeling of, hey Norm, we gotta be somewhere at whatever, and then he wastes 4 hours and then he gets us there at the right when the clock's about to tick. I know the
Right.
feeling of him just going over his time. And I remember one time I've said this story before, but like there was an earthquake and he was bombing, and it was sold out. It was like 600 people. So he just stayed on stage until all 600 people left, and the club like shut the doors at like 3 a.m. and like he was still on. So like I find him so incredible because he got off on that. Like that was like what comic wants people to walk out, and he wanted all 600. Like he didn't get off until, so it was great.
That's that's absurd. I would love
Yeah.
to be there. I'd love to watch that though.
It was one of
You
the
know.
worst nights of my life because I wanted to go home.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, man. I'm glad that you got that story because like I said, that's something I've experienced, but just for you to experience because I know you're a big fan. I'm glad that that happened to you, man.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's pretty cool. You know, I consider him one of the best, and he's one of my favorites to listen to. The podcast, I re-listen to those clips all the time. You know, him on the couch are one of my favorite. Dude, when I'm just feeling a little bored, I literally go Norm Macdonald on the couch or like Norm Macdonald Tonight Show and just watch all those. Him on the like him on. He was the best on the couch that I think ever existed.
Oh yeah,
He was so and so I've rewatched those clips 1,000 times, and I do feel very lucky to have gotten like a day with him. You know
yeah.
what I mean? I spent a long day, mostly being annoyed by him, but also laughing along the way. You know,
Well,
so
it's funny now, but like at the time of the moment, I could just imagine your annoyance. You know what I mean?
oh, I was so annoyed. I was like, this
Yeah,
guy, okay. When I left him at the steakhouse, I was like, what a turd. I was just like over it. And then he showed up and I was like, oh, him again. And then when
yeah.
he's on stage, I was like, oh yeah, I love this guy. You know, but
It's so hard because like he's my favorite comic ever and he was one of my best friends, but I can't even listen to the podcasts anymore or watch him on TV anymore. Watching that Zoom special, it took me probably a month just to finish it. Like it's just so emotionally draining. I can't do it.
I I bet, man.
Yeah.
Uh, did you get to watch him run that special in front of a crowd?
Yeah, we were training for it. And one of my
Yeah, I know.
one of my jokes that I wrote got into the special, so I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of how like one of your jokes got in one of Mark Norman's special. So like I thought that that was, even though it was a Zoom thing, I still thought it was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it was a Zoom thing, but it was also a Netflix thing.
Yeah, well, Netflix released it. He didn't film it on Zoom for Netflix. The whole goal was to film it and actually he did that. I didn't even know he did it on Zoom until it got released.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched it, and it's definitely a sad thing. It's like it's hilarious and sad, and the dog barking, and there's a lot of things in it, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan, I feel like it's kind of emotional. I can't imagine being like a close friend, you know.
Yeah. So, well, Andrew, I have two more questions. I want to respect your time. Victor, do you have any more questions for Andrew Youngblood?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I got kind of scared. I was like, oh God, I hope I get to ask this one because I like to ask this question, and I
So
think
we
it's
have three more questions. We want to
yeah.
respect your time. Victor, take
Oh,
it away.
absolutely. What is the one piece of advice that you've gotten from a headliner that has really helped you as a comedian?
You know what? The big this guy is he's a headliner, but he's a small time headliner. He does he's been doing it a lot longer than me. He featured for Joe Coy on the road forever. It's a guy named Chase DeRusso, and close friend, New York comic now. Used to be from Houston, but I think about him every time to this day before I go on stage. And he came up to me after a set one time, or right before a set, and he goes, "Hey Andrew, remember people like you and also remember you love stand-up. So no matter what the audience is doing, just remember this is fun for you and have fun up there. So I just repeat to myself, I tell myself, have fun on stage, have fun on stage. I do that all the time before I get on stage and have a good time, no matter how it goes. I'll have a
Yeah.
good time. And then and sometimes when I forget to do that, I go up there and then I go, fuck, I didn't do it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not having fun up there. Like I literally see his dumb, bald headed face go, have fun up there. He always calls me Young Bleezy because I don't know. But I always see his face saying, Andrew, have fun. So that's my advice is just we're in it because we love it. So if you're going up there and you're getting depressed, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, for
And
sure.
no matter what level you're doing it at, whether there's 5 people in the audience, 2 people, 500, 1,000, just remember to have fun, because if you're not having fun, well, why are you even in this?
Well, the way I look at it is even if there's 3 people in a show, if they bought a ticket, they're there to see you. So you should give them what you could. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
of course.
so one of my questions for you is how now that you're headlining, because when you're opening or featuring, you don't really have to deal with this. That's more on the headliner. But now that you're headlining, how do you handle like if clubs say, "Hey, you're not good enough for my club"? Like, how do you deal with that rejection? How do you move on
Well,
from that?
I haven't had a lot of that yet.
Okay.
So, I'm pretty new. I'm headlining a lot of one-nighters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I haven't really gotten into weekends yet. I'm hoping that this special will switch that up a bit. But I get a lot of off nights, and I think I've gotten pretty lucky with the people I've opened up for. Between Mark and TJ and Ari and a guy named Daniel Van Kirk. There's a ton of I think between all these different people, I almost have like a vouch resume. So most people are like, "Oh, we'll give this guy a shot."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've only done a handful of actual weekends where I'm headlining, and so yeah, I'm just like all off nights right now. So I haven't got that. Usually, I think the rejection comes when you email someone and they just don't reply, and then you're like,
Yeah.
all right, well, there's rejection, and I don't feel bad about that because I help book some stuff here in Houston, and I often forget to reply. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I try not to
I
take it too personally.
Yeah, but see, like with me, I email people over and over again until they either reply, stop emailing me, and then I respond. Like, for example, Victor and I were just talking about this. I got rejected on a guest on Reza Riffs, right? And they're like, hey, thank you so much. Joe Coy can't do it right now. And I said, all right, I'll try again in a few days.
Yeah.
But
They didn't want to do it, huh? The
yeah,
guy's going into hiding.
yeah. But so my last question for you, Andrew Youngblood, is if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, it could be from yesterday or the day before, and give them advice what you know now, what would you say?
Quit. Quit while you're ahead.
Quit?
Just don't
Oh
do it.
my.
No. Man, that's tough. You know what it would be? Pull out. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. I got a lot of mistakes. I think I love my kids, obviously. That's a tough one. Comedy related stuff
Or
would
life,
be
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it does seem like a waste if I have a time machine. I go back in time and I just tell myself about open mics. I'm
Right.
like, hey, don't take it so seriously, buddy. Like, yeah, that seems like a waste of a time machine. I'd probably go back in time. You know what I would do? I would go back in time to the Atlanta Patriots game. And I would tell myself, hey, man, I know that Atlanta is up by 30 points. But if you take all the money you have right now and put it on the Patriots, that for life, dude. And I would just do that. And then I'd be rich and I'd never have to do anything again.
That's great advice. Oh
That's
man.
pretty good.
Yeah. So Andrew, where can the folks at home follow and support you at?
At No Youngblood on all my social media, Instagram, Twitter that I never use, but mostly Instagram and TikTok and all that nonsense. I got a podcast called The Mess Hall with Jamie Rowan, great comic, and that comes out every single Tuesday. And then I got a special coming up on Mark Norman's YouTube with it's my special, and it'll be out in March. Pay attention to all my social media because I will be blasting it. I'll be on every goddamn podcast I can think of over the next couple months, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, let me know when it comes out. I won't not only watch it, I will buy it. I will like send you $20 and say, hey, even though I'm watching it on the YouTube, I'm buying it.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. No, I will because I love you. Andrew Youngblood,
Every
thank you
20,
so
20
much.
thanks for having me, guys. Both of you. Thank you.
Definitely. All right. And we'll subscribe, rate, review. We'll see you guys next week. And Andrew, don't leave because I want to ask you one question off the clock.
Ooh.
Hey, Rifters, just giving you a heads up. Andrew Youngblood's special has been announced and it will be released on Mark Norman's platform on March 28th. So go get it. Enjoy.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.